the bullpen. In the bullpen today, we have Brian Tyler Cohen, my brother from another mother. This guy is an expression of my values on a regular basis. Very proud to have him on the show. Brian, good day, sir. Welcome.
Dr. Richard, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you being here. We want to talk about two dynamics in particular. One, what in the hell are Republicans going to do with Donald Trump? And two, what in the hell are Democrats going to do with Joe Biden, to be frank with you? So let's start with the breakdown of Donald Trump. Obviously, very problematic now. Virtually every candidate he endorsed in the state of Georgia lost their race, all of them, with the exception of maybe one, and that was Marjorie Taylor Greene. And then his power obviously slipping nationally, and the rise of DeSantis has created another dynamic in the multiverse of Republican politics. So what are your thoughts about it? What do you think will happen?
Here's my main thought, my overarching thought, and I've said this before, but my thought is that until someone kills Donald Trump, he isn't gonna die. And I think people, myself included, because I definitely have done the same thing, but people will grant Ron DeSantis the heir apparency in the Republican Party and just kind of decide among us, among the pundit class, that Ron DeSantis is the next guy. But we have to remember that Ron DeSantis has never thrown a single punch at Donald Trump. And in fact, most people haven't thrown much of a punch at Donald Trump at all. And so I think that something we have to remember is that while we might be wish casting here on our side because of the dangers posed by someone like Donald Trump, at the end of the day, they still have to beat him in a Republican primary if they want to beat him in that primary, if they want to replace him. And so, that's something that we haven't seen happen. And like I said, we can say on our end that we think that Ron DeSantis is going to be the next guy, but he hasn't taken the support away from Donald Trump among those Republican primary voters. And until he can do that, until we see any indication that that's actually being done, I don't exactly have any reason to believe that it's going to be anybody other than Donald Trump. Until I have a reason to believe that it's not going to be him, I have to continue thinking that it is.
Let me give some nuance and caveat to that. I agree with your sentiment, and you could be wrong, I could be wrong, you could be right.
Totally, yeah.
I could be, et cetera. All right. So here's my reading of the tea leaves. I agree that in order to defeat Trump, you have to defeat Trump. And when you said kill Trump, you meant politically. I got to say that because somebody was, oh, you're talking about killing. No, that's not what the man is saying. The man is saying politically. So politically, DeSantis has not engaged in direct political combat with Donald Trump. But I want to say something that is interesting because I never thought it would happen this way. Look at the governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp. Brian Kemp was endorsed by Donald Trump in the primary. That guaranteed his victory. He wins. Donald Trump gets upset at the governor of Georgia because the governor of Georgia wants to appoint somebody to the US Senate because of a vacancy that Trump did not want. Trump wanted his own person. So it created a conflict. They then get into a public conflict later. Kemp was able to not only win his Republican primary, he was able to win his governorship back in re-election, contrary to the endorsement of Donald Trump, who took the endorsement back, ended up endorsing political enemies of him, and Trump did not win. This was all done, sir, without Kemp directly engaging in combat. Same thing for Raffensperger, Secretary of State, engaged in a public fight with Trump, ended up winning the Republican primary, even though Trump endorsed somebody else, and he ended up winning the general election in a state that was considered to be Trump country. The only reason I highlight that is because we do have some of that happening regionally throughout the country as well, but that happened in an entire state, and that's a strong state. And then this is the last point I'll make about Trump. In the Republican primary, the great thing in the Republican primary and Democratic primary is that it's a plurality of votes. So even if Trump performs well, that's fine. If others perform okay, he performs well and DeSantis performs well, now you have a problem because this is not an up and down 50% plus one scenario. This is simply plurality. And if you have other candidates running, it will split the Republican vote and he may have a real problem securing enough actual delegates to make the general. What do you see in my
I think of course you're right, and you know, I think as we get closer toward this 2024 election cycle, we're going to see that play itself out. And of course, there's a ton of evidence that would suggest that Donald Trump is an albatross around Republicans' necks. Like you mentioned at the top, I mean, we had every single gubernatorial and Secretary of State candidate running in a battleground state that was endorsed by Donald Trump or that spewed this election denial BS that lost. And if that's not a testament to his weakness within that party, I don't know what is. But at the same time, you know, I think that what's going to be especially interesting is again, like watching to see if that 30 to 40% of diehard Trump supporters, if they stick by him for the exact reasons that you said, when there's going to be a ton of people running in the Republican primary, just like they were in 2016, if he has the support of those people, and then you have, you know, the Josh Hawleys and Ted Cruz's, Marco Rubio's, Tom Cotton's, whoever it is, Ron DeSantis's that ultimately do decide to run, if none of them can supersede his base of 30% of people, that 30-40% of people might be all he needs to win. Yeah. So again, because the Republican primary is done differently than the Democratic primary, and it's pretty much a winner take all system, if he can just skate by with the bare minimum that he needs to overcome all of those people, then that might be it. And so he might be shedding a ton of support in the Republican Party, and he might be a really non-viable candidate in the general election moving forward in 2024. But we're talking about two totally different things in terms of the primary and the general.
All right, I'm going to do this. My producers are telling me we got 1 minute before the next show. I want to get your thoughts about the Democratic primary. How do you see this happening for the next presidential cycle?
So look, I think at this point it would be really hard for me to say anything other than the fact that I do expect Joe Biden to run in 2024. I think that he's announced his support. We have a lot of prominent Democrats who've announced their support for him as a candidate, and there is a major advantage in the incumbency that I think a lot of people are going to be that I think is undeniable. I should say.
All right. We will talk about that next time you come on when we got more time.
Will do.
Glad to have you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, absolutely. Okay. Remember, take care of yourself, take care of each other, take care of the planet. Remember, the truth is always indisputable.
Hello, welcome to Unbossed on a Monday. We had a little technical difficulties, but we are back. And you know, when it's Monday, it is Jessica Burbank Monday. Jessica, how are you doing today?
It's good to be back in action with you, Senator Turner.
Good to be back in action for you, and thank you for holding it down for me while I was gone. For all of you, we're so glad that you are here. So today, we're gonna be talking about Elon Musk. I know I hate to do it to you, but that is what one of the things we're gonna talk about. The crypto bros are coming for your 401k. And later in the show, we have a WTF neoliberal moment. Can you guess who that is? Stay tuned to find out if you can't guess. I know some of the regulars, y'all probably already know who it is. But we're gonna start this party off right, or maybe wrong, depending on your vantage point. Elon. Take a look at this.
Always for the richest man in the world.
So what you just watched was Elon Musk, the world's richest man, taking the stage at a Dave Chappelle comedy show. And yeah, you heard a whole bunch of boos. Now Musk, who spends most of his time indoors online, doesn't have much to say while out there in the presence of people. Because guess what? He's not used to being treated like this. So Chappelle tried to fix it, but it didn't work so well. Take a look.
We're expecting this, were you? It sounds like some of them people you fired are in the audience. Hey, wait a minute. Those of you booing. Tough road ahead, it sounds like. But you notice one thing? All those people are booing, and I'm just pointing out the obvious. They have terrible seats. I understand. All coming from way up there, nigga, from last minute. Non-plan. Boo. Listen. Whatever, look.
This was awkward, and James Yu laid it out on Twitter this way. Very, very awkward. Said, was at the Dave Chappelle show at SF tonight, and who comes on but Elon Musk? A good 80% of the stadium boos. 18,000 people, and he withers, like absolutely turns into a corn cob. What say I? He says, Dave tries to salvage the situation, but to no avail. Yeah, David Chappelle tried to help this brother out, but it was not working with that crowd. And here's another one. I actually felt bad for him. I'm by no means an Elon fanboy, more centrist. I wanted to shake him. For the love of God, man, say something and pretend it's a tweet. Jessica, I'm loving that. Yeah, he knows how to operate in the social media world, the Twitter space, but as that video proved, not in the real world.
Yeah, he just completely shut down, had nothing to say at all. And I'm trying to figure out what the plan was. Why was Elon Musk appearing during Chappelle's set? I think it's hilarious that Chappelle smokes on stage, because imagine going into that stadium. Listen, everybody, you're not allowed to smoke. Dave will be smoking the entire show, but you please don't do that. There are a lot of things you can expect at a Chappelle show. Not Elon Musk coming out though. No one was prepared for that. And I'm wondering if there was some plan like Oprah Winfrey style. There's something under everybody's seats. And then when they all started booing him, they were like, you know what, let's not do that. Because why would you announce someone, here comes the richest man in the world, it would have been legendary if he dunked on him, because no one makes $1 billion through working hard and being an honest, good businessman. That's impossible. You make it off of exploiting other workers. It's no wonder he's unpopular. And even if there was some kind of giveaway planned under everybody's seats, why would you want that? I mean, he owes the people far more than he could ever give them through charity.
I totally agree with that. And Chappelle did make the joke that the stadium must be filled with the people you fired. You know, he really tried to help them. Yeah. I don't know what that was all about, but we see that this is a perfect example of people forgetting that not everyone is immersed in the Twitter sphere. Twitter is not the real world, even though we act as though it is on a regular basis. And also proof that money can't buy charisma. No, he froze on stage. I think my 3-year-old grandson would have been able to handle that crowd a lot better than Elon Musk did. Whenever you have doubt, ask a toddler. They'll let you know what to do. Elon surfaced in the news this weekend after posting, unfortunately, a transphobic tweet. My pronouns are prosecute Fauci. There was no need for this. So it makes sense that. So this absolutely makes no sense what he decided to do on that stage and what he was doing with that tweet. Very unfortunate that he would take a slam very unfortunate that he would do that. I am speechless right now about this. So Musk definitely wants to control the narrative, even going as far as possibly suspending the account that shared the video. The owner of the video that was posted on Twitter appears to have had their account taken down. So Jessica, just another example that this man can dish it, but he can't take it.
Yeah, I mean, he's now on Twitter talking about Fauci, talking about how he's gotten rid of all of the bots. He's just amplifying really the far right's messages. People like Marjorie Taylor Greene really loving the tweets that he's putting out about Fauci. And it's sad because it's like, obvious. He's processing the emotional distress of realizing how unpopular he is with the general public. So instead, he's going back to the base that will amplify what he says, show him some love. And it's kind of like this echo chamber that I think a lot of people get caught up in, where they're like, oh, if I say the things that will ignite the right in the United States, I'll always get attention and validation, instead of thinking, what is good for the world? Instead, he's like, you know what, I can say this thing and get these people to like me and show me love that the general public will not.
Yeah, well, he can't. He was in for a rude awakening. Hopefully he learns from this. We'll be right back after this.
Cenk Uygur is not here today, which means that I will be able to talk during the show.
We'll see.
Poor Cenk, under the bus.
My God, if Jesus came back, how much would the Republicans hate him? Now you have to give away all of your possessions to the poor. Steve King would be like, oh, Weezy. Everyone should be lucky enough to have a John Iadarola in their life.
You confused everyone.
Okay, sorry, I thought it was pretty clear.
Take a break now.
You can turn me into Dr. Manhattan as long as I get what Dr. Manhattan's packing, okay?
The liberal mom says, Mark Thompson, have you ever thought about doing one of those tapes that soothe people to sleep? Like Mark Thompson reads the phone book. I'd buy it.
If you'll buy it, I'll do it.
Emilio D'Amelio writes in, John, you are so thick. I love you. That's what he wrote.
Pork Chop Express writes in and says John Iadarola needs a new jacket.
Whoa.
Those 24-inch pythons are about to burst out of his sleeve.
Gun, baby. You know, the two people here said that their moms were both in love with you over Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm. That's an improvement. I usually get grandmothers.
Charlie Turk.
No, wait a minute, don't you dare.
Chemical castration when we return from the break.
I hope that, who they choose for the White House isn't just a borderline Klansman. That's all we gotta hope.
That's it, we will settle it.
She's cute.
I didn't say that about Laura Ingraham.
Scandal at TYT. Did Anna comment on my tan yet? No, she hasn't.
You're a good bosser.
But Anna did say that I come in here today with a fresh mind. That's all I'm about. I'm about a fresh mind.
I can't with you right now. Okay?
She just can't. She can't, but nonetheless, we have to for another 3 hours. I'm back, baby. Let's rip into Republicans. See, don't miss the live show.
That's great.
Tell people, if you're a member, you get the whole live show whenever you want, because this stuff doesn't go into any of the clips.
Welcome to the Damage Report. I'm John Idarola. This is gonna be a big one.
Meanwhile, in the Arctic, you know where this is going. You watch the Damage Report, the Arctic's on fire. Obviously, why would we be talking about the Arctic except to tell you that it's melting once again? The Republicans aren't that interested in it. I wonder why. Lift out of poverty up to 3.7 million people, including an estimated 1.3 million children. Hashtag save the children? Not if it costs money. I mean, come on.
What's happening? I'm Dr. Rashad Richey, host of Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Richey. Here's the bottom line. I play no games about policy, period. Too many people's lives are at stake. So here's what I do. I challenge conservative ideology that hinders the growth of this country. I make sure we place our facts in proper context, and I have no problem debating anyone on the position that I have. Progressives have the ideas to change the world, but when you really look at it, progressives have always change this world for the better. I want you to tune into my new show, Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Richey, right here on the TYT network, 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. I'll see you there.
Everything that we've accomplished over the years is because of our members who've allowed us to remain independent of corporate interests and reach 20 million followers. Now is the time to bring as many people into the progressive movement as possible. We're inviting you to be the change and help bring a community-powered progressive change machine to life. Details are at tyt.com/change. If you're a member, thank you. We need you to remain so. If you're one of the thousands of viewers out there who's not a member yet, the time has come for you to join now. We need you more than ever. tyt.com/change.
Welcome back. The crypto bros want your 401k. Yeah, they do. Here they come. Crypto bros are greedy and they want your pension money. Let's put up this headline. Crypto bros want your 401k. Despite FTX's collapse, a lawsuit linked to the exchange's investors is trying to force regulators to allow crypto into the retirement market. Absolutely not. Underscore, bolded, underlined, feds, are you listening? Absolutely do not let these fools, and I mean fools, mess with, frickle frackle with, okay? Insert the word, people's pension fund. So an investment firm tied to the collapsed crypto trading platform, FTX, yeah, FTX, you remember your good friend, Bankman-Fried, yeah, that FTX, is also backing a company whose court battle could help funnel Americans' retirement nest egg into digital currencies. A Lever review has found, thank you, Lever, the legal campaign coincides with a push by crypto bankrolled lawmakers, hello, bribery in America is legal, to try to clear the way for retirement savings to be invested in the crypto market. Now I know, thank you, Matthew from the Lever, I'm adding all my Turnerisms into this, but this is serious business here. These fools wanna mess with people's pensions. That should be absolutely not under any circumstances. This laissez-faire type government BS they got going on does not work. And people can lose everything that they have because these fools want to play games with people's money and people's livelihood. Jessica, I'm so hopping mad over this, I can't go any further. I'm just calling you in.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad enough that people's retirement has been tied to the stock market and the performance of Wall Street for so long. And now to have people's money in their retirement after working 8 hours a day, sometimes 80 hours a week, and then to reach the age where you're no longer at the health where you can labor like you used to, and then to have your retirement be completely dependent on people who have been gambling on the productivity and value made off of your work your entire life. It makes absolutely no sense. These corporations can fund retirement for their workers. They're making more than enough in profit to do it themselves rather than to invest money into things like cryptocurrency, which is extremely volatile. Tons of working people who cannot afford to lose money have been sold a dream with cryptocurrencies, and they've lost big while people who have invested millions have made millions off of cryptocurrency. It's really the little guys that are losing out. And at the end of the day, you're not investing in anything real or tangible. It's basically this sort of shadow form of an investment. You're not investing in a business, and the more people put money in, theoretically, the more valuable the coin is, the more money you can get back out. But it can be tanked incredibly quickly if one of these millionaires who's bought a bunch of these coins pulls out all at once. Now all of the little guys that have invested in that coin are gonna lose out because the value is going to tank. A lot of these people can't afford to lose that money. To have it tied to your retirement is insane.
Totally insane. Crypto gone wild, corporations gone wild. This stuff is insane. And I'm telling you, to mess with people's livelihoods like this, they don't care. Obviously they don't care. That's why they filed this lawsuit. Let's keep going because the Lever did this. At issue is the Labor Department's March guidance. See, this is why these fools sued. So at issue here is the Labor Department's March guidance warning retirement plan administrators to exercise extreme care before they consider adding cryptocurrency options to a 401k plan. Because the investments are so volatile, as Jessica just laid out, the agency promised a deeper investigation into crypto and warned administrators that they should, quote, expect to be questioned if they help direct retiree assets into the currencies. Heck, yeah, let's put this up, what the feds had to say. This is their guidance. Guidance assistance release number 2022-01. This is what y'all go ahead and look this up. US Department of Labor, Employee Benefits Security Administration. In recent months, the Department of Labor has become aware of firms making investments in cryptocurrencies to 401k plans as potential investment options for plan participants. The department cautions, now they should have underlined it, bold, underscore, message in the bottle, the word caution, plan fiduciaries to exercise extreme, do the same thing with that, care before they consider adding cryptocurrency options to a 401k plan's investment menu or plan participant. They being too kind with this. They should just flat out said it will not be allowed. We're not gonna allow you to play games with people's livelihoods, but I'm glad that they did something. So this is why these fools sued. So I just want you to understand that. So though it's non-binding, the lever goes on to explain to us, the federal guidance is now the target of a lawsuit brought by an investment company offering crypto to its 401k clients. The firm is also backed by investors in FTX. You know that FTX that just blew up because of Bankman-Fried, the Ponzi scheme? Yeah, that same company. The suit aims to force regulators to retract the guidance, arguing that the government is acting as a quote armchair financial advisor in issuing warnings. You know what? Jessica and I, we're gonna stay right here just for a minute, like for 60 seconds. The government needs to act. This laissez-faire is what has gotten us in this position already. And let us not forget that people lost money because of the FTX debacle. And now they got the pure unadulterated gall to be involved in suing the federal government for putting out guidance. You know what my grandmother used to say? They got more nerve than a brass A monkey. Y'all fill in the A. ASS, that's what grandma would say right now. They got a lot of damn nerve. Jessica.
Yeah, this notion of laissez-faire economic practices, I mean, they say it's all about freedom, but what that really means is the freedom for corporations to exploit working people who don't have a say over matters like this. When you have corporations saying, yeah, we're gonna invest your money in a retirement fund for you, it's gonna be your 401k, workers having no say over where that money goes, and to have these crypto lobbyists that have their tentacles in every aspect of American life, really paying off politicians, now trying to get corporations to promise that portions of the 401k contributions are going to go to cryptocurrencies. I mean, really what that means is that corporations get to do whatever they want at the expense of the people. If we wanna live in a free country, we need to have a government that fights corporations and fights for working people, which make up the majority of the population. That would be a real democracy. And our economic system right now is authoritarian, with corporations and people with a ton of money having the most power.
There it is. We really are the corporate states of America, unfortunately. We got to keep fighting and pushing back against this. And I hope that the Fed stand strong and do not allow, oh my God, they filed a lawsuit. In any case, Jessica, I need my mood brightened a little bit. Can you read some of our viewers' comments? Because I'm fit to be tied right now.
The best part of the show. Let's do it.
Yes.
There's a lot of love here. Craig Cray, who's a TYT member, says, seems like the streets of SF had a lot of speed bumps for Elon. And we've got Sheila says, Nina, with a bunch of and a bunch of hearts. It's hard to capture all of the emojis and exclamation points and capitalization in here. Earth Creature says, love you, Nina. I agree. I love Nina as well. Stefan says, Nina and Jessica, great duo today. Every Monday. This is where we're at. Thanks for all of the love, everybody.
All the love. Thank you so much for that. Here we go. Where does Marjorie Greene find the audacity? Watch this.
I'm to Washington. I swear in on January 3rd. I get accused of giving insurrection tours, which I thought was hilarious because I couldn't even find the bathroom in the Capitol. True story. Then January 6th happens, and next thing you know, I organized the whole thing along with Steve Bannon here. And I want to tell you something, if Steve Bannon and I had organized that, we would have won. Not to mention, it would have been armed. Yeah. See, that's the whole joke, isn't it? They say that whole thing was planned, and I'm like, are you kidding me? A bunch of conservatives, Second Amendment supporters went in the Capitol without guns, and they think that we organized that? I don't think so.
This chick right here, okay, that is a sitting congresswoman who just said that the January 6th, people tried to overthrow the government, overthrow an election on January the 6th, burst through the Capitol. People got hurt. Police officers got hurt too. Some people died, and you got this chick who knows all of this saying that if she was in charge of organizing it, they would have won. Won what, Congresswoman? Killing people? Won what? and then said that they would be armed. Y'all need to get her. Please, she should not be in elected office. Absolutely not. And she's saying that, and people sitting up there clapping. We got a problem, America. Yeah, we got a problem. It's disgusting. It really is. And let us remind Marjorie Taylor Greene that on January 6th and the days following, yeah, as I just said, 7 people died. Capitol Police officer who died days and weeks after the riot. These are the people who claim that they love law enforcement so much, right? That's what they claim. Officer Brian Sicknick of the Capitol Police, who was attacked by the mob, died on January 7th. Officer Jeffrey Smith of the Metropolitan Police killed himself after the attack. Officer Howard S. Liebengood of the Capitol Police also died by suicide 4 days after. This woman is sick. She is heartless, and she does not have a soul, and she should not be elected. Come and get her. Jessica, I'm hopping that. I mean, this whole show today is making me angry. I am mad.
Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene's one of the most disgusting people in Congress because she preaches this idea that she represents the working class in some capacity. If she actually represented the working class in the United States of America, she would be pushing for policies that help working people, which she has absolutely never done. She's claimed that money that was appropriated to her state through the American Rescue Plan was money that she got for her home state. That's absolutely not the case. She didn't vote yes on that bill even. And it's just ridiculous that she thinks that her and Bannon being credited for orchestrating January 6th to say we would have won the coup. You couldn't even win an election. This wasn't a majority of the people who wanted Joe Biden to not be certified as the winner of the election. They were certifying the votes of a free and fair election. No evidence of fraud was found thanks to their cries and their absurd big lie that they were spreading. We actually had to look into this and we found absolutely no evidence of election fraud. And it's just absurd that she's still talking about this, saying that she had nothing to do with it, she didn't orchestrate it. She was live streaming during it, encouraging the people there, and they absolutely were armed, and the Trump administration knew they were armed. And so it's just disgusting, everything she says, and to do it to a group of young people who are new to politics is even more gross.
Yeah, it is. She's trying to create more people in her image, and that is very troubling. You know, again, this is not really back in the blue as they claim that they would. Other people got hurt too who are not necessarily law enforcement, but we're pointing out law enforcement especially because these folks claim to care so much about law enforcement. They don't care. They don't care about anybody but themselves. Now, because the backlash, now she's claiming that she was being sarcastic. Let's put this up. So she's pulling a Trump. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, the White House needs to learn how sarcasm works. My comments were making fun of Joe Biden and the Democrats who have continuously made me a political target since January 6th. Congresswoman, you just flat out lying. Woman up. You got up there on that stage and you wrote a check that your behind can't cash. Grandma would say it another way. And now you being called out on it. And now you want to say you were being sarcastic. There is nothing sarcastic about talking about a coup would have been more successful had you led it. It's nothing sarcastic about forgetting and not caring about the people who were hurt and the people who were killed and their family and friends who care about them. Ain't nothing sarcastic about a woman. Lord Hammer, y'all better come and get her. Jessica, we going to the next story because I can't take much more of this chick. This is ridiculous, all over the place, ridiculous. We're going to WTF neoliberal. Now y'all can guess who's the neoliberal today, can't you? It's the neoliberal that usually we highlight all the time.
We will now kneel.
Miss Cinema, no.
You have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
So President Joe Biden's pro-union gimmick, and it is a gimmick. You know, we were on the Republicans, now it's time to get on the Democrats. So that's what we do at Unbossed. We spare no one. President Biden's pro-union gimmick has been wearing thin, and it's got me asking that question. Some poor intern, well, I don't know if the intern is poor, but somebody put out this tweet yesterday. Let's take a look at it. Union workers are the most highly trained, highly skilled workers in the entire world. That's not a joke, that's a fact. Yeah, they are. But yours truly called him out on his pro-union gimmick. Let's put this up. Yours truly did. My stunt double did that. They also deserve to strike for better working conditions without you and Congress stepping in to break it up. That's not a joke, it's a fact. Yeah, because my stunt double understands that. And I guess they think that people are stupid, that folks are not gonna remember. I mean, I'm old enough to remember that the president and the Congress took away the rights of rail workers to strike. The best, the strongest tool that they had in the toolbox, they took that away. And now this person who tweeted this out for this president, he got the nerve to say he's standing up with union workers. And of course, yeah, something wrong with him. Biden is breaking his sick leave promise to crush rail workers. There it is. In 2020, Biden called the lack of decent paid sick leave, quote, a national disgrace. Now he's siding with rail barons to crush rail workers seeking those benefits. And he did just that. And I'm not alone in falling for the facade. There are a whole bunch of people not falling for the facade of the president. Even Twitter didn't fall for it. Let's put this up. The craziness of Musk, but still, they were absolutely right. So the president, I campaigned to restore the backbone of this country, the middle class and unions. Over the last 2 years, that's what we've been doing. I gotta pause on that for a minute. Okay, I'm back. Americans are working, the economy is growing, incomes are rising faster than inflation. And then you guys see that little note, like it's a little asterisk. Biden signed a law breaking a significant strike, which does not conform with his claim that he is restoring unions. Now, that is true. And so when you got Twitter fact checking your gimmick, that's saying a whole lot. Also want you to check out this scathing statement from Mark Diamondstein, president of the American Postal Workers Union. Let's put this up. Statement by APW President Mike Diamondstein on congressional action against the union rights of railroad workers. Yeah, he went in. So there he is. Here, this is what he said. Many labor leaders claim that Joe Biden is the most pro-union president. While we appreciate that President Biden has expressed pro-union sentiments, strengthened the NLRB, nominated a pro-union Secretary of Labor, and signed the historic Postal Service Reform Act, the labor struggle in rail was a fundamental test of which side are you on? Go ahead, President Mark, lay it out there. So glad to see a labor leader not play around and not kowtow to this White House and to this Congress and be very strong about what they just did to the rail workers. Jessica?
Yeah, honestly, we don't need sentiments from the Biden administration. We need action, because sentiments don't put food on the table for working people that are trying to feed their families that are going hungry. And for the president to say that we have a good economy right now, it's so absurd, because the data shows that we have a recession of the have-nots. The haves are doing quite well. We're seeing airlines, do great. They bounce back after the pandemic. That is the upper middle class who can afford to travel. Everyday working people are spending less money at places like Walmart, only buying the essentials. Walmart has seen an increase in their customer base because people can afford to shop at higher end grocery stores. So really, when you dig into the data, it's pretty clear that the majority of people are not doing well. We're seeing spending down during the holiday season from 2021 dramatically. Theft is up, car repossessions are up. The data points to a real recession for the have-nots. And we don't have a government that's going to regulate big businesses when they're exploiting workers. Striking and withholding their labor so that they get a fair contract is all they have. And so to take that away when you're not standing up against the exploitation to start with is absolutely ridiculous. It's authoritarian to have the government have that much say over the corporate contracts for the working people. It's just disgusting.
Yeah, it is. And had Trump done something like that, ooh, the neoliberals will be losing their minds. But because they got doing it, they got mum to say. Right is right and wrong is wrong, no matter who's engaging in it. And if we are true to the cause, then we will stand up and speak out. Minister Malcolm X once said, I'm for truth no matter who is for or who is against. I'm paraphrasing them, but baby, that's how I'm rolling too. This president failed the rail workers. This Congress failed the rail workers. And let us remind folks of the grilling that Jake Tapper gave to Pete Buttigieg. Yeah, Petey. Let's put that up. Let's play that.
To press the case if you're not willing to like actually go to these billionaires and say, how on earth can you sleep at night not letting your railway workers have paid sick leave, which is just like that. I mean, that's not an extravagant benefit, paid sick leave. You get sick, you get to take a few days off. They don't have that. So I guess these lofty aspirations are one thing, but I didn't hear any language coming from the administration saying these rail companies need to get serious about offering basic benefits like paid sick leave.
Yeah, just basic benefits. It's not extravagant. So glad that Jake Tapper took it there, really is. And this is a reminder coming from the lever that the Biden administration could have avoided this by just listening to the American people, what the American people had to say. Could have avoided this totally by not stepping on or crushing the rail workers. Dems could have helped rail workers by absolutely doing nothing. Written by David Sirota of The Lever. There are those encouraging Biden to take executive action. He should do that. Let's put this up. Bernie to Biden, you can give rail workers sick days. The Vermont senator leads over 70 members of Congress urging the president to sign an executive order extending sick days for federal contract workers to the rail industry. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that post haste. Please, let's do that. Jessica, time for some more viewer comments to kind of level me out a little bit.
Yeah, we've got Vicky, TYT member, says, it blows my mind we have Marjorie Taylor Greene and not Nina Turner in Congress. That is so wrong. It is so wrong. That should have been a race that everyone in the progressive movement was behind, and it should have been one that was won, and corporate money had something to say otherwise. That was a rough night. But now we get to do the show together, Nina. Now we get to be here together.
Yeah, we do.
Henry said, full-blown unhinged. Just when you think she could not get worse, she does. About Marjorie Taylor Greene on the YouTube super chat. Thanks for your comments, everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much. Very profound. I'm sighing deeply, but I'm coming back, y'all. This stuff is heavy, and that's why we talk about it on Boss. We got to expose this stuff so that people know what is happening in this country, and hopefully we will galvanize to fight. We just can't accept this. So restrooms for the unhoused, we are going to California, LA in particular. Come on and travel with us. You don't have to get on the airplane to do it. Just follow Jessica and I on the story. So every person deserves clean water, clean food, clean air. You hear me say that all the time. But also access to use of the restroom and the shower. I mean, that is a given. Cannot believe we gotta say this on the show, but we are saying it. In California though, some folks are or have an issue with unhoused individuals and don't necessarily care whether or not they have access to restrooms. And the crisis is taking place particularly on Skid Row, where many individuals, about 4,400 people, tragically call Skid Row home. This is their home. And those 4,400 unhoused people who call Skid Row home often have trouble finding bathrooms. This issue is absolutely tragic, and let us break it down because we want you to get an understanding here. Residents must make do with a patchwork of public bathrooms and porta potties that are operated by overlapping municipal programs, shelters, and nonprofit groups. The challenge is compounded by the fact that many toilets are shut down overnight, as if people don't have to go use the bathroom overnight. That doesn't compute for me, but this is coming from The Guardian. Thank you, Guardian. 5 years ago, a report called No Place to Go found that Skid Row had just 9 public toilets available at night for about 1,800 people then living there, 80 toilets short of the UN standard for a refugee camp. Now, Jessica, this makes no sense to me at all.
No, absolutely not. And it's crazy that we had people like Rick Caruso who ran for mayor and they were like, this guy's gonna change LA. I'm sorry, he is a billionaire landlord. His policy on his website for ending street homelessness, he didn't quite care to end homelessness. He just wanted the people off the streets because they were an inconvenience to look at and they go to the bathroom in the streets, and people didn't want that. I mean, seriously, thankfully, he's not the one in office and we have someone like Karen Bass. But this is a huge racial justice issue because 8% of Los Angeles is Black, 60% of the population in Skid Row is Black, and their representative is Kevin De Leon. someone who was caught on tape saying terribly racist things, who is now fighting activists with Black Lives Matter. So the situation in LA is dire. Giving people bathrooms to use is the bare minimum, but we really need to house these people because right now we have so many vacant units and we have people who need to be housed. And instead, luxury apartment owners would rather keep rent high and maintenance low and keep those units empty. And it's inhumane at the very least.
It is a sickness that is permeating this country. This excessive greed is sickness and it is killing people. Now, while the situation has improved somewhat on Skid Row, the population has grown. There are currently about 31 toilets available at all hours. Now, the result is a vicious cycle, advocates say. Unhoused Angelenos are often left with no option but to relieve themselves outdoors, then are demonized for leaving behind human waste. Again, thank you, Mary Malin of The Guardian, for writing such a spectacular article. And let me remind you that in the late 1990s, business owners not only wanted the toilets removed, but also lobbied to make public urination illegal. Now, most people not walking around wanting to urinate on the sidewalk. Okay, let's get a grip. Most people do not want to do that. So they need a place to be able to use the bathroom. In 2006, tensions began between the city and residents escalated when in 2006, the city implemented a strategy known as Safer Cities Initiative, focused on quality of life crimes like jaywalking, littering, and public urination. So we gotta find a better way to do things. Now, does anybody want to urinate on the sidewalk? Most people do not. It might be some outliers, but most people do not. So don't demonize folks who are already in challenging situations. Let's do something so they won't have to do that. And 50 additional police officers were added to a 54 square block of Skid Row as part of the initiative, and the city hauled away the existing portable toilets to prevent homeless people from loitering. Okay, they did the wrong thing. They should have kept the porta potties there, increased the porta potties, and gave people a place to be able to relieve themselves. But meanwhile, on Sunday, Karen Bass starts as Los Angeles mayor with a plan to address the homelessness crisis. That is a beautiful thing. So glad, and we're looking forward for Mayor Karen Bass to do something about this in a very humane way. We need a plan to help people. Can we do that? Now, speaking of Kevin De Leon, I'm so glad you brought him up, Jessica. I need you all to watch this.
Resign, Kevin.
Resign, Kevin.
What are you doing, Kevin? Don't touch it, Kevin.
Yep, that was disgraced LA Councilman Kevin De Leon putting his hands on a protester by the name of Jason Reedy over the weekend. And you might remember De Leon being in serious trouble after this leaked audio of former LA Council President Nori Martinez, De Leon, and LA County Federation Labor President Ron Herrera was made public a few months ago. Take a listen.
For MLK, for the parade that Herb used to organize, and we need all the council who wanted to join Herb on the float, because he used to do a whole float to be nice. Bonnie would be like, hey, Nuri, are you going to the MLK? Well, Herb invited me, yeah, I'll go. Okay, I'm bringing whatever the kid's name is. I'm like, it's like the oddest thing. It's like black and brown on this float. And then there's this white guy with this little black kid who's misbehaved. Este niño has they're not doing it. They're not doing. The kid is bouncing off the effing walls on the float, practically tipping it over. There's nothing you can do to control him. Parece changuito. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah, Martinez said LA council member Mike Bonin's son, a young black boy, little black boy, was acting like a monkey. Yeah, the stereotype that this society tends to use when slurring black people. Yeah, she called a little black boy a monkey. Kevin De Leon was in that room, right, going right along with it. And since then, Leon has refused to resign. Let's put up this headline: Los Angeles City Council member Kevin De Leon refused to resign after his racist remarks. Jessica, I mean, him doubling down on this, him fighting with the activists. I mean, granted, the activist was in his face. There is no doubt about it. I do not, condone people getting up in folks' face. Like, I need people to be an arm length away. But he should have removed himself from this situation totally with both the activists. And then none of this probably would have happened at all had he just resigned. Resign.
Right, Kevin De Leon on that audio doubled down on what Nuri Martinez was saying and said that the child should be used as a handbag, calling for the beating of a black child caught on an audio tape where they were strategizing to dilute black votes in Los Angeles for their city council representatives. I mean, this is a man who's deeply anti-black racist, and this wasn't just some random activist who happened to be at the event. Jason's a leader in Black Lives Matter in Los Angeles. I spent many nights with Jason outside of Kevin De Leon's house before Kevin De Leon moved out of his district. Now we don't know where he is. He's required to live in his district as a part of the laws in Los Angeles. He's not representing the people in his district. He's certainly not representing his black constituents. And Jason's one of the sweetest guys ever. I mean, this is someone who's been taught how to organize direct actions from people who were taught by Cesar Chavez. And he didn't charge at Kevin. I mean, Kevin saying he hip thrusted him. You can clearly see that Kevin was the one charging forward at him. Jason was in his face, but Jason wants him to resign. And I mean, just the fact that people are saying that Kevin De Leon was punched, it's ridiculous. This was Kevin De Leon, who's someone who wants to avoid public pressure and public accountability, taking out his anger on someone who's fighting for better days for people like him and his young son. He just had a baby. And so it's just really sad to see this play out this way.
Yeah, it really is. Kevin De Leon had no right to do what he was doing, even if he felt like Jason was too close to him. He should have removed himself from the situation. But more importantly, resign, dude. Yeah. I mean, just why is he still there? I mean, he digging in his heels to stay there. He know he needs to go. And this kind of anti-black racism, because that is exactly what it is. First at the hands of the council president, who's a Latina. So let me give you a news flash here. It's not only white people who can be anti-black. Everybody, other folk could be anti-black of other ethnic and racial groups. This woman led the charge, and Kevin De Leon was in there pouring gasoline on the fire. He needs to resign. And so, Jessica, I get it. That's why the activist was there, to make it known, hey, leave. You are not the type of person we want to be a representative on city council. So he was exercising his right. Now, for me, as have been an elected official, I understand, you want some space. I mean, I want space when I'm at the grocery store. Don't come up on me too close. I get it. But Kevin De Leon should never have put his hands on Jason at all. Remove yourself from the situation. And for the love of God and all things good on the LA Council, leave the council, man. Jessica just told us you running away. They don't even know if you're living in the council district, man. Resign. Have some respect. Finally, for once, leave, please. Lord have mercy. Jason, I'm sorry that dude put his hands on you. He shouldn't have put his hands on you. Well, that is our time today, Jessica. It's been a rip-roaring Monday, baby. We will be back tomorrow. Hopefully next Monday it won't be as exciting, but we bounced back and we came through. So I'm so glad that you were here. Both Jessica here, Jessica Mondays, and I am so glad that each and every one of you were here with us, making it through. Please, you know what I want you to do. You absolutely know. I want you to keep the faith, but more importantly, I want you to keep the fight. Until next time.